This is Super Yacht News with eSysman. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Okay guys, we have breaking news. This is from today. So by the way, it's Monday the 5th of April and the headline is the Russian-owned super yacht is seized in Spain, but not by the Spanish, by the US authorities. Alright, so this is from the Associated Press. On Monday, the US government seized a mega yacht, it's not a mega yacht, in Spain, owned by an oligarch with close ties to the Russian president on Monday. The first in the government's sanctions initiative to seize and freeze giant boats and other pricey assets of Russian elites. The vessel was seized in Mallorca in Spain. Now, we already talked about this vessel a while ago, and initially it was believed to have already been seized or arrested by the Spanish authorities, but it turned out it wasn't actually the case. And what had happened is the owner, Victor Vekselberg, he had had his assets frozen and he wasn't able to pay. His boat was actually in refit in Mallorca, in the shipyard in Mallorca, and he wasn't able to pay his bills or his crew, and as a result of that, the vessel has just been sat there in the marina, and all the crew actually were fired. They were all laid off because of this situation. So the vessel wasn't seized, but it was effectively seized by the fact that the owner couldn't spend any money on it. So the joint operation to seize the yacht with Spain's civil guard, the FBI and the Homeland Security investigations was carried out at the request of US authorities, the civil guard said. Homeland Security in Spain? Okay. So as I said before, the yacht is owned by is among assets owned by Victor Vekselberg, a billionaire and close ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin, who heads a conglomerate encompassing metals, mining, tech and other assets. According to the US Treasury Department, all of Vekselberg's assets in the US are frozen, like we just mentioned, and the US companies are forbidden from doing business with him and his entities. So it's interesting, like, what is interesting is that he's not actually been currently sanctioned by the EU or by the UK as far as I'm aware, but he is being investigated by the US for possible tax fraud, money laundering and falsifying documents precisely to hide the ownership of Motor Yacht Tango, the civil guard said in a statement. So that's the story, guys. The vessel has officially now been arrested, seized. I'm not sure the status. The phrase seized is used in a way that is probably incorrect. But the vessel has been detained, let's say, by the US authorities, which is very interesting. The vessel, by the way, Motor Yacht Tango, is a 77 meter or 255 foot super yacht built by Fedship in the Netherlands, and it was delivered in 2011, and it's a just over 2,000 gross ton vessel. So yeah, so that's the news, guys. It's quite interesting. I've got other bits of information. Yesterday's video we talked about Motor Yacht Solaris was docked in a port in Turkey, and the company that owns the port is actually a UK based company called Global Ports Holding, and they're actually on the London Stock Exchange. And they were told by the government that they were actually possibly contravening legislation that says that anybody in the UK is not allowed to assist, technically or otherwise, with any Russian-owned super yachts or individuals. So what happened is today the company said that they were waiving any and all fees that were due from the vessel to that company to prevent them being prosecuted. But what is interesting about that is, at the same time, when I looked on AIS to see where the vessel was, she'd actually slipped her moorings and she'd gone out to anchor. So she's actually left the port now. So it looks like they said, okay, we won't take any money, but you have to leave. So now the boat's out at anchor. So yeah, so that's another development. And one last story, guys, is Motor Yacht Axioma. So you remember this story. A vessel was crossing the Atlantic, it docked in Gibraltar and was immediately seized. We talked about it yesterday that JP Morgan had debts owed by the owner and the vessel was seized as a result. Well, I got contacted today actually by someone saying that they thought that it was leaving. I checked the AIS and it was off AIS, But what was actually happening is they said it was leaving in terrible weather, but what I actually found out was it didn't leave. What happened is the weather in Gibraltar was so bad that the vessel was rolling. It was moored, it was tied up, but the vessel was rolling side to side so badly that the port side of the vessel actually hit the quayside, and they were sustaining damage. And the captain actually called the authorities and asked them to send down, call the port and asked them to send linesmen down, and they slipped their lines and they went out to sea, but they just went out to anchor to get away from the port because the weather was so bad that it actually sustained damage, as you can see in these photographs here, which is sent to me by an anonymous subscriber. So yeah, so that is that's quite brutal. The amount of roll that the boat must have had to sustain that kind of damage. This kind of stuff does happen. Usually a vessel could put on the stabilizers even when they're tied up to prevent this from happening, but it just depends on the type of stabilizers the vessel has, and if they protrude out the side, it might not have been possible for them to be able to do it because they would hit the quayside. So yeah, so quite interesting developments today, guys. I was going to have a night off tonight, but I needed to make a video. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Let's talk about it down there. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like the video, really helps me. Thanks very much. And okay guys, I'm going to leave it there and I'll catch up with you soon. All right, bye bye.